The breath is like a dance of integrated intimacy of life inside you. Oftentimes we need to inhale. That's like moving a pump upside down. But how about moving a pump from side to side? The dance of the breath is what I just demonstrated in a very, but moving the body. The more you can move it, the more you can loosen up the lungs that are wrapped around by the rib cage. Now, the reason a lot of us can't breathe properly, or that maybe you might have like emphysema, or you might have is because your lungs are being held by these fingers called the ribs, and it's calcified. There's a lot of, adhesions within the tissues. You think maybe I'm well built or I'm muscular, or no, I have more space and more opening throughout my tissues than you do. Okay? See, the spine has 32 vertebrae, and each one needs to move by itself and not be locked in. So if they open up, then the rib cage opens and contracts as you breathe. So when I sit or meditate, I don't breathe at all. It's totally unnecessary to breathe when you meditate if your body's open and pure. And that's the whole reason you want to be pure. That's why you want to live and eat raw foods and become alkaline. Because as your alkalinity purifies all your tissues, your bloodstream, which is the river of life. When your bloodstream is pure, you won't never have a negative thought. You won't have anxiety. You won't even be worried about anything, because the very grace of life will descend upon you. You won't be in a diseased state. You see, the exterior pressure of life, of the air, is 14 pounds per square inch. Basically, we're being crushed slightly all the time. That's why we get older, okay? But the very fact is, if your body can resist that 14 pounds of pressure and actually expand, okay, meaning expand where bacteria, parasites, yeast, molds, and funguses won't come and rob you of your energy and take from you and basically decompose you. If you eat properly, if you breathe properly, if you understand what yoga really is, it's about immortality. It's about embracing total life as it is without having to add to it. So you think that a certain food is going to help you? No. You think that a certain element or people or savior or doctor can help you? Nobody can help you except life itself. And that you have to depend on fully and have complete faith in yourself. In your own ability, your body's healing ability. So you have an innate capacity to know everything and be able to heal anything. And when I said you have an innate capacity to be anything and think anything and understand anything, you all have to open up to your teachers. You all have to open up your body, your tissues, because cleanliness is godliness. The cleaner you are on the outside and the inside, the purer you are, the more you are at peace with life, the more capacity you have to do and be anything. Because I'll tell you one thing. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to read anything. You don't have to search anything or anybody in this life. You know everything, my friends. You know everything. And if somebody tries to tell you and trip you out and tell you something that's their trip, that's their trip. And if you want to absorb it and take it in, that means you're accepting life as it is, okay? People come into your life and share with you things and teach you things. And maybe it's what you needed to know. But for the most part, you consumed and absorbed so much information that's not even important at all. Because what you really need to do is meditate and call and ask to be given the information, and the information that's necessary for you to evolve as a human being. So as you meditate and absorb energy and ask your teachers, because there are teachers always that want to work with you and help you, but what's the quote? Ask and knock and the door will be open. Okay, well, if you ask and you knock and you sincerely, now you gotta have sincerity, you gotta be totally sincere, you gotta be, and because you might not get the message in 5 minutes, you might not, how do I solve my mortgage problem, or I don't know what it might be, in 5 minutes, it doesn't come, then I'm out of here and I'm gonna go figure it out myself. No, God's not like that. Actually, God's a kind of a trickster. God will say, okay, you didn't wait long enough, buddy. How sincere are you? So it might take you a half hour, it might take you an hour, it might take you all day of sincere asking. I really need to understand. And then the inspiration will come. Because only you know, only you can magnetize to your life what you need. Just like I magnetize what I need to in my life because of polarity. A lot of times we repel things in life because we have judgments against them. I tell you, anything you have a judgment against or that you think is bad, or even if you think that meat is bad, I bet you better start absorbing that energy. You better start accepting that life is not about judgment, it's about acceptance. So if you have a thing, let's say a lot of people have a thing about meat, they won't eat anything with a face on it, and I agree with you, you shouldn't eat anything with a face on it. But if you have a judgment about it, about a hamburger or a Big Mac, go in and to McDonald's and say, give me one of those Big Macs and I want to supersize it. And you better eat that thing and find out what the rest of the masses are eating, okay? Because I tell you, you may have aberrations and abhor eating a McDonald's Big Mac, but I'll tell you, I've eaten a few this year. I've eaten a few McDonald's sandwiches this year, and I've eaten Subways this year, and I've had some meat and pork sometimes. The reason why is because I'm not separate. As long as this mouth is eating, you have to accept that other people are eating foods that are negative, and if you don't absorb some negativity, you better try to tell people how to get out of the negativity, because part of the reason of being in this life is to participate, okay? Now, I'm not saying to go out and continue the slaughter of these animals because we're partaking in life. I'm asking you, as long as you have information, you better go out and share it with people. And also understand what the plight of eating that food and putting it into your body. Because as I put that food into my body, I have to feel the pain of the animal, the pain of the suffering of my millions of people that are out there. Because those are my people. Every single person out here is my tribe. And they need to understand that they're not alone, that I'm here to share and care and offer a new opportunity, that we can take the old and basically just say, okay, we've done it all, and I want you to experience everything in life and say, okay, I've done it, I've experienced it, now I can move on. And if you want to move on, if you want next evolution, then come and see and work with me, because I'll tell you, I'm not done until you understand the yoga of breath, the yoga of food, the yoga of just self-realization. Because until you have the light of God coming from inside out, then my job's not done. Because I want you to fully understand that. I want you to feel as good as I do. I feel so high all the time. I feel like I'm loaded all the time only because I've mastered the breath. I've mastered the understanding of how to cultivate it, how to send it down into the depths of my being, how to mature it down here in the bowels of my existence. And as I cultivate it, pressurize it, push it down into the genital region, then the genitals can expand, be filled into the sacred area called the sacrum. And this sacrum, the sacrum is the key to your climbing Jacob's ladder of the spine of life. And if the pressure, now this is really interesting because people don't talk about this in yoga, and you won't hear it from anybody else, but you might hear it from me because of the very fact that I understand my lifetime as a yogi, that when you get the pressure of your sacrum coming up your spine, the very freeway of all information up to your brain, and you feel the pressure, now correct blood pressure. I'm not talking about pressure of some sort of caffeine high, or after running a mile or two you feel, oh, I feel so high my blood's moving. No, I'm talking about feeling the blood, the serum, the spinal serum coming up the top of the head up into the cranium, and you can actually feel the brain breathe. Now when you feel that brain breathe and move and open up, and it saturates itself and drips down your skull, now that's being high, and that's what you want to feel. And if you're not feeling that, come to one of my classes, because this is the real deal.